Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Workplace Conversation 10.0. It's a great privilege to have you here join us tonight. My name is Olumuyiwa Oludayo. I'm the convener of Workplace Conversations, and a great delight to have you join us today. Good evening, everyone. This is our 10th edition of Workplace Conversations and our first for the year 2026. And this year, we find it, we're glad to say it's a significant milestone. Over 9 editions, 9 previous editions, this platform has continued to be a safe space for professionals to interrogate what is really happening at work, not from a place of complaint, but from a place of responsibility, clarity, and evidence. We are beginning 2026 with a theme that is not just anecdotal, it is documented, measurable, and increasingly costly. Globally, right now, the evidence is very clear. The World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2023 to 2024 shows that organizations are demanding higher output from people. They are demanding higher output from even leaner workforces. Organizations are not hiring a lot, but they are demanding more from people with leaner workforces. And while productivity gains are increasingly constrained by cognitive overload, there's a lot of information now and a lot of mental processes that are going on. There's a lot of task fragmentation and poor work design. Similarly, the Microsoft Work Trend Index of 2024 reports that the average knowledge worker is interrupted approximately every 2 minutes during the workday. Every 2 minutes during the workday, the average knowledge worker is interrupted, with over 60% of the working time consumed by meetings. And some of you are dreading tomorrow already. With over 60% of working time consumed by meetings, emails, and instant messages rather than focused, value-creating work. Similarly, the International Labour Organization's Global Working Time and Work-Life Balance Report of 2023 has been able to link excessive work hours and sustained workload pressure to declining work quality. So meaning, as we work for long and the workload begins to increase, work quality begins to decline. There's declining work quality, there are higher error rates, there's burnout, and there's a rising psychosocial risk. For us in Nigeria, to be honest, a geopoll that was done on Lagos commuting patterns, particularly those of us who live in Lagos, and I'm glad to see that many of us on this call are not we're not Lagosians, so you possibly cannot relate with what we're saying. But a geopoll on Lagos commuting patterns 2023 found that a significant proportion of workers spend between 1 and 3 hours daily in traffic. Can I get a witness from the Lagosians on this call? If it's correct, can I just see a yes in the chat? For those who are in Lagos, do you spend between 1 to 3 hours commuting to and fro work daily? Is that poll correct? Yes, they say. Okay. Yes, they say. Okay. You're validating that statement. Okay. And this is time and energy that you are losing before the work day really begins. This is a time and energy you're looking before the work day begins. And this increases fatigue, shortening recovery time, and pushing productive work into late hours. And secondly, if I refer to the World Bank's estimate that is cited by Reuters in December 2024, it says Nigeria loses approximately $29 billion annually due to unreliable electricity supply. Somebody chatted me just a few minutes ago before we came on this call to say, I plan to be here, but there's no power. And just at this time, my generator backed up. I'm not having, inverter, and I don't have the power bank. Now, that's to tell you the impact of infrastructure instability. The infrastructure instability that is impacting on people. And this translates into lost productive hours, repeated rework, increased coordination overhead, and an entrenched urgency culture. Everything seems to be urgent for us in this part of the world. And that spills directly into workload pressure on employees. The National Bureau of Statistics, in their Consumer Price Index, the National Bureau of Statistics Consumer Price Index suggests that the National Bureau of Statistics, Workplace and Consumer Price Index suggests in their report for December 2025, this is fresh, they report a headline of year-on-year inflation of 15.15%, with food inflation averaging about 22.0% over the preceding 12 months. Now, this economic pressure shapes how employees experience work and how much additional effort they feel compelled to exert, and how they interpret fairness, reward, and value. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, put together, all of these factors create a familiar Nigerian reality. People arrive at work already depleted. Do you agree with me? People arrive at work already depleted. People arrive at work already exhausted. People arrive at work already worn out. That's one reality. And number two, people operate in high friction systems, and people extend their work into personal time just to stay afloat. Can anybody on this call prove to me that they have not done official work at home this weekend? Anybody? If you are here, we're about, how many of us are on this call now? About 30 of us on this call now. Can you prove to me, is any one of us, one of the 27 of us here, are you able to tell that you did not touch official work this weekend? We're right. We want to see you. You seem to be the angel in our midst. Today is Sunday. Are you saying that since you left work on Friday, you've touched work? Okay, please let me know. Since we have 2 days of weekend, let me come down to 2 days of the weekend. Somebody says a lifestyle. Taiwo says a lifestyle. I was just on it before the call. Yemi Ogundana said she did not touch work Saturday and Sunday. Amazing, Yemi. We want to be like you. That's the way life should be. Well done. Victoria says, I'm currently on my system. Gift says, I just turned off my laptop. Some of you are running to ensure that you prepare for work tomorrow. Yemi, does that mean that after now, you will not still check anything on your laptop just before it's weekend? Oh, Yemi says it's just this weekend, Sha. Every other weekend, you've been doing the work. Amazing. You see? And that just tells us this is how a workforce can be always working, yet still feel that they're barely winning. And so tonight's conversation is not about lowering standards. Tonight's conversation is not about excusing poor performance. Tonight's conversation, it's not about having to give you a reason to demand less from yourself. It is simply about examining whether the way work is currently designed is producing sustainable value and what it is costing people and organizations. That is the tension that we're here to interrogate. The theme for tonight's session is always working, barely winning, the hidden costs of workload pressure. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I'm excited that we are here. I'm excited also that our speakers are also here with us. Just before we proceed, let me let you know a little bit about the owners of Workplace Conversation. Workplace Conversation is an element or an arm, an initiative under Nathan Lidgate. Nathan Lidgate is an organizational management practice passionate about delivering and developing capabilities and delivering real value. They collaborate with organizations to create customized, practical solutions that solve real-world challenges, optimizing resources and building sustainable internal capabilities across those 4 pillars that you see: people, organization, learning, and strategy. At Nathan Lidgate, we provide insight-driven and practical knowledge resources that include the following, but it's not always limited to it. If you go on our website, you will see a lot of our resources there, case studies, and learning briefs. In the course of this conversation today, we're going to drop in the chat our company profile so you can get along with it. In the time that we have been, Nathan Leadgate has helped organizations transform potential into performance. We have helped people to build the people, systems, and strategies that they need to thrive in their various industries. We have trained over 10,000 people. We have analyzed over 2,000 personality assessments. We have employed for our clients, because we do recruitment as well, over 500 people have been employed throughout our clientele base. We have got over 10 corporate transformation frameworks that we have deployed and 7 critical organization diagnostic tools that we have also leveraged on to get our work done because we are evidence-led. And if you look on the Nigerian map there, very soon we'll show you the globe. We'll have clients abroad. But for now, our clients are within Lagos, Ibadan, Elisha, Benin, Asaba, Bayelsa, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Abuja, Jos, and Kano. Perhaps your Ondo Akure, I know you're on the call, but you are not on this map. You should bring us to Akure. Ekiti is not here. You should bring us to Ekiti. So we're looking forward to going around Nigeria and across the world to serve you. Very soon, your company's logo should be here. I'm glad to let us know that one of our clients is represented on this. One of our panel members is represented here. And I think, in fact, 2 of our panel members have their companies, serving us. And so I want to say welcome and thank you. So partner with us. You would find our contact on the screen. We hope that we will engage you and you will engage us. At Nathan Leadgate, we're not just consultants. We're your partners in success, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you. And so tonight, meet our speakers. At the right time, I'll bring them up as I read their profile. And once I read their profile, I'm sure they will turn on their camera so that you can see their face and be sure that you're not speaking to AI. AI. We are living in the world of AI now. Anybody can be attending the meeting, and it may not be him attending the meeting. Okay, so let me welcome, first of all, tonight, Mr. Mensah Simon Peter. He's the head of corporate communication and corporate planning of Simon Peter Mensah. Hello. Are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Doctor. It's nice to have you to be here on the chat.
Thank you. Simon is a seasoned chartered insurer, and he's got deep expertise in risk management, strategy execution, and underwriting. He's got expertise also in project management and corporate planning. He holds a bachelor's degree in insurance from the University of Lagos and a master's degree in risk management and insurance. He is an associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria. And beyond his executive role at the Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC, Mensah has served on several industry and national committees, including financial.
Okay, better.
Okay. Back-end team, work with me, please. Joshua and Grace. Thank you. Mensah he has served on several industrial and national committees, including the Financial Inclusion Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, through the Nigerian Insurance Association, the Microinsurance Retail and Takaful committees of the NIA as well. Mensah has been on the NICOM think tank team. NICOM is in Nigerian, the National Insurance Commission, if I'm not mistaken, the National Insurance Commission, right? Yeah. He has also contributed to the technical review of the Nigerian Insurance Consolidated Act, now known as the NIRAT Act of 2025. And for those of you in the insurance industry, you will know that is the act that is reshaping the entire insurance industry. And this man that we are privileged to have here was one of those that crafted elements of that act. His professional experience places him at the heart of how strategy is translated into action, how priorities are coordinated across units, and how execution pressure is created and managed within complex organizations. I've worked with him, and I know him very well. His gray hair is not just because he's not out of age. His gray hair is work and workload. For the first time at Workplace Conversations, We are having a foreigner, when I mean a foreigner, a non-Nigerian, sit on our panel. Simon Mensah, like you can see from his name, is Ghanaian. He's our next door brother. The man has come to the place. So welcome, Mensah. Welcome, Mensah. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. And good evening, everyone. It's good to be here at Workplace Conversations 10.0. I hope it's going to be a wonderful time out.
It should be. It should be. Let me welcome my darling, the latest celebrant in the house, Janet Omolade Durotoye. Hello, Janet. Are you there?
I'm here, Doc. Good evening. Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, everyone.
Great, great, great.
I'm happy to be here.
Janet is the head of human resources and brand management at Milestone Group, one of those that have enjoyed and are given us the privilege to serve them as well. Janet is a senior HR and brand management professional with over 15 years of cross-country, cross-industry experience spanning travel, consulting, finance, logistics, and the oil and gas sector. She holds a first-class degree in industrial relations and human resource management from Covenant University and a master's degree from Liverpool John Moores University in London. She currently leads the human resource and brand management function at Milestone Group, where she's responsible for people strategy, performance management, leadership development, and organizational capacity building. Janet is also very hands-on with policy formulation. Janet is an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, an alumna of Lagos Business School, and a graduate of the African Leadership Development Center's Leadership Development Program. Her work places her in direct contact with how workload decisions are made and how performance is managed and how organizational pressure is experienced by employees. It's my great delight to welcome you today, Janet. You're welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm so happy to be here. It's my first time of the workplace conversation, so I'm glad to be here, and I hope it's going to be
great. We're happy to have you as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. Let me also tell you, somebody was just asking me just before we started, why do you do workplace conversations on Sunday evenings? Why Sunday evenings? Why not Friday? Why not Saturday? Why not any other day? And I said, by Sunday evening, people are already preparing for work on Monday. Some people are either frustrated or they are helpless. They're looking forward. So there's a cognitive readiness for work. And so having this conversation before they go to work helps them to frame their readiness for either the pressure or for the greatness that lies ahead for them for the week. And we don't intend it to be very long, but that's the reason we have it on Sunday evenings. Perhaps somebody's asking, don't you know we should be sleeping now? We want you to take something to bed that can aid you to perform more productively this week. But my first question goes to the audience. How would you describe your current work experience? I'm going to give you 4 options, and I want my audience, just to be sure that my audience, they're with me tonight, and I don't want to assume that all 32 of us are active, but just to know if you're active. I'm going to ask you a question. I'll give you 4 options, and I want you to just type in your response. Your response should either be A, B, C, or D, so you've got to listen very carefully. The question is this: how would you best describe your current work experience? How would you best describe your current work experience? Number 1, that's letter A. I am busy but productive. B, I am busy and constantly stretched. C, I am overwhelmed and often behind. D, I feel pressured without clarity. I'll take it again. How would you best describe your current work experience? A, I am busy but productive. I am busy and constantly stretched. I am overwhelmed and often behind. And D, I feel pressured without clarity. Where do you belong, A, B, C, or D? We're counting. B, 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 A, B, A. We told people to just use the alphabet. People are typing, eh? In my days as a lecturer, I will have marked you down. Isn't it, Janet? We'll have marked them down, eh? Okay. We have him. Priya says she's C and D. Oh my God, that's Priya. We have to come into your DM to see how we can support you. There's a C there. If you're counting, I think we're having a lot more of we're between A and B, really. We're between A and B, really. Is there any more person still? Somebody says B and D. Oh my God, B and D. Wow, B means I'm busy and constantly stretched. I feel pressure without clarity. Oh my God, that's not a good one.
Doc, I think we need to have a special session for people who are having two options. Probably on a Sunday like this, so they could, ease off those stress before Monday.
We will note it. We'll note it and get across to them.
Amazing. And most people I'm sure on the call do not know. Monday is one of my best days of the week. So you will start to imagine how we prepare ourselves for Monday being the best day of the week.
Amazing. Okay, so it's looking like B is our greatest option. Janet, what do you think? Is it B or A? I think we're between B and A.
I can see a lot of A here.
But I think one thing is clear. Everybody acknowledges that they are busy. Everybody acknowledges that they are busy.
I see a lot of B now. A and D.
I think it's even. There's 8 A's and 8 B's, really. I think it's just even. It's even. I'm not sure many people, if anybody should vote now, they will be the one to be the tiebreaker. If anybody else should vote now, they'll be the tiebreaker. But it looks like people are busy and let me say constantly stretched. I think that's what it appears to be. If I add the guys who have C's and D's on them, and that's a big challenge for us. Ladies and gentlemen, what this immediately shows that effort is not the issue. Effort is not the issue. We are all busy. Effort is not the issue. Effort is not the issue. What exactly is the issue? The issue is alignment between effort, clarity, and outcomes. The issue is alignment between effort, clarity, and outcomes. And tonight, our panelists will be set to help us do justice to the question. So Ments, I'm going to start with you. Let us begin by understanding how workload pressure is created. How exactly is workload pressure created? And question to you, Mensa, is this. From your own experience, how does workload pressure typically emerge in organizations? Is it driven by more strategy gaps, coordination failures, or leadership expectations? How exactly does workload pressure typically emerge in the companies that we work in?
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. And you just said it here. You mentioned 3 factors, responsible for some of these things. You mentioned effort, clarity, and outcomes. And I would like to put it first that in my own experience, workload pressure has never been, the fault of any one single individual, or would I say one single leader or coordinator. Instead, it's been a mixture or a mix of certain things, which are called systemic friction. And when I'm looking at this, I'm going to relate it to a motor vehicle. So imagine driving your motor vehicle and your engine is running without enough oil in it. Imagine the kind of heat it generates from time to time, and you have, your vehicle already overheating. This is what happens, in most cases. Now, this usually doesn't just come off on its own, but there are certain factors that leads to it. And one of these clear signals is the fact that either strategy is vague or non-existent. Organizations sometimes, suffer from strategy dilution because strategy is as much about what you do as what you do not. I will take that line again. Strategy is much about what you do and as much as what you don't. And if we have to look clearly, at what really is the main factor here, I will not say there's any real factor apart from the fact that there are what we call gaps in our strategy plan. There are gaps in our strategy plan. Coordination, becomes easier and leadership expectations becomes much grounded in reality. But without strategy, and when I mean strategy, I mean, proper strategy implementation, without these being put in place, the other factors become inevitably, very spiral. For example, when you have to look at this factor, having weak cross-functional coordination or duplicating efforts, because certain things are not put out clearly. Strategy maps, strategy initiatives are not put out clearly. You give out initiatives and everybody thinks everything is that important without clearly identifying what are top priorities, what are second priorities. And these are one of the factors, that leads us to workload pressure. And bottom line, to really look at this, to say workload pressure, like you have said, emanates from three things: effort, clarity, and outcomes. And when these three things are not put together, it leads to what we call structural and systemic failures, which in the real sense, in every direction, is not caused by any singular individual, but just the fact that strategy implementation or strategies are not being put into right perspective.
Thank you. Thank you, Mensa. Thank you very much. I hear you. From your own perspective, workload pressure comes from poor translation of strategy. It comes from a false sense of urgency, a false sense of value in addressing things as urgent. I mean, too many parallel initiatives competing for a limited capacity. And then you have said that workload pressure is primarily structural and systemic and not individual pressure, individual failure. Thank you very much. Jenna, let me come to you. I know you are a HR person. Mensa is a strategy person, but you from a people and systems perspective, where do you think organizations most often overload their employees without realizing it? Sometimes we overload our people and we do not realize that they're being overloaded. Oh, just about the time I asked Janet a question, I think our system took her out.
Back.
Oh, great. Welcome back.
First of all, actually, unreliable power supply and inverter the functionality.
We are so sorry about that.
Suddenly.
Can you hear us, Janet?
I think the network is a bit shaky over there.
Is it not the way they say that, say Nigeria has happened to her or something like that? These are some of the things that cause undue pressure. We just talked about it in our introduction, infrastructure instability. When these things happen, they just put unnecessary pressure on you. We'll wait for Janet. While we wait, let me just further investigate what you have said. When she's back, I'm sure she'll just poke us to say she's available. Okay. When she's back, she'll just poke us. Janet, let's know when you're back, because we'll be happy to have you back. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's back.
Okay, Janet, are you back?
Not perfectly, but we can make do with what we have. So let's just go ahead. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
We can.
So the question I asked you was, from a people and systems perspective, where exactly do you see organizations most often overload their employees without them realizing it?
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. I don't know why my video is not coming up, but can you confirm you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my system is still trying to come back up. Okay, I'll just go straight to that question. And my own answer will actually be coming from the private sector experience and what I've seen. And I can say categorically is as a result of role being expanded without intentional redesigning of scope of work. By that, I mean employees are given more assignment, more tasks to do without clarity. We've mentioned that. I saw that Mr. Mesa actually mentioned that earlier. But these are the things that employee actually experience, right? Performance are you're expected to perform more without capacity being checked. You are given more role because you are being able to do well in one task that you were given earlier. And then more tasks are given without checking with the capability. Are you able to do it? Can you deliver on it? So those are the experiences. Those are the things that happen from the employee's perspective. Managers to give an example. In a situation where, let me use the travel agency, for instance, during the time of peak period where there are more demands of reservation and all, more works are just given to the reservation team without, giving them more people to work with. More work are being allocated without giving them more people to do it. So those are the experiences. Those are the things that employee experience. You have a situation where, how will I put that? 6 targets are increased without the support of the marketing team. Like you're expected to do more, bring in more revenues without more people to do the work. So those are the things that bring the pressure. Those are the things that bring so many, this pressure that we are talking about. So that's what we experience. And then just to land it, I will say that even organizations do all of these invisible organizational decision is not with bad intent. It's not as if they have bad intention for you not to deliver, but it's just there that, yes, those people are able to carry out the tasks and they should be able to do it without any question.
Thank you very much.
That's my take on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Janet. You've said that one reason organizations overload their workforce is because role expansion, if I heard you clearly, role expansion without intentional redesign. And I think performance expectations that are detached from the realities of people's capacity. In fact, I remember somebody asking me a question today and saying that why do you put people with square peg in round holes? How did they say it? Square peg in round holes. And I was trying to say that sometimes you need to check out people's capacity to do what they are doing. And if they are doing it well, you possibly want to stretch them. There's some stretch assignments for that. But I also know that sometimes managers, they lack access to workload visibility. Managers just assign work to people. They can't see what the people are doing. They just keep assigning work to them. And they just continue again and again. Sure. That, again, causes the kind of workload we see. Let's move on very steadily. What is already clear to me from what both of you have said is that workload pressure is designed into the system long before it appears on individual calendars. So before your calendar shows up as though there's workload there's workload on your calendar. The organization itself is work. I remember telling a friend that when I traveled to Bielsa earlier in the year, I felt very peaceful. I mean, everything was good for me. Not until I landed in Lagos. I came back from Bielsa, and as I just landed in Lagos, I had not entered into the city. I was just there at the airport, and I could feel pressure. I could just feel pressure that, hey, my God, my heart was palpitating. That this Lagos, I was in Bielsa, I could sleep and wake up at 7:30 and get to my destination in 15, 20 minutes. But upon landing in Lagos, I could feel the pressure. And that really appears to me like that's what the organization is like. There's workload pressure already designed into the system of work long before it appears on your own calendar. Let me go to the second round of questions for you, my panelists. And I want to try to see if I can answer the question or distinguish between what I call busyness versus productivity. I want to really examine that critical contradiction. Many organizations say that they value productivity, yet what they often reward is you being busy. They say they value productivity, but what they really reward is being busy. Janet, you are a HR person. You have been sitting you are sitting on performance management systems. How do you think performance management systems unintentionally reward busyness instead of meaningful output? How do you think PMSs unintentionally reward busyness instead of meaningful output? How exactly? Your thoughts?
That, in fact, I'm in the core of this particular question that you just asked now, Doc. I have an experience where the management actually reward visibility, the fact that you are available. A situation where emphasis are laid more on availability rather than the impact, right? Some would say, oh, they have actually admitted remote work, you can work from anywhere. But I can tell you from experience that management will rather see the person in the office, not measuring it with the impact, not really looking at what this person is doing. Is it actually speaking to their KPIs? So that's what we see. We see a situation where, weak outcome definitions on the scorecard, on the performance. When we are doing the performance evaluation, there are some aspects that are being scored on, but it has nothing to do with what the person is doing on daily basis. It's not what they are measuring. And then you think because, oh, you're busy, this person is always available, therefore they are doing what they are expected to do, right? You see where effort is being mistaken for effectiveness, right? Now this person is trying, but are they achieving what we actually, the goal that we've set, are they actually achieving it, right? You see where they're like, oh, even those that did not achieve the set goal, what are the consequences? There's no consequences there. So everybody is just overloaded with so many activities without clarity on what they should do and how it's speaking to their KPIs. What really get measured, right, is quietly determined. It's determined how people work. If like I was telling one of my colleagues last week, and I say, she said, oh, the MD gave me this to do. The chairman gave me this to do. My other colleagues expect me to actually do this for them. The person happened to be a legal person and said, so how do I go about it? I said, which one will speak to your KPIs? Because at the end of the day, you will not be judged for the support that you are giving one cleaner that is going through one thing that you needed to do, you needed to sort out. What you'll be judged on is how are you able to execute the assignment given to you that is speaking to the organization goal as a whole. Right. So those are the things that we actually experience.
All right, thank you very much. So unintentionally, organizations are placing emphasis on responsiveness and availability. Yes. I hear you clearly saying that what gets measured quietly determines how people choose to work. So in the case of that lawyer now, if the person sees that this is not on my KPI, I should not expect them to support me on a thing that is not going to be measured for their productivity. And that's an unintentional way of just, rewarding things that are not working. And then one critical thing you mentioned about minimal consequences for poor prioritization. When we find employees not prioritizing well, the question is, what are we doing to it? When there are no consequences, when the consequences are not great, people are not able to change their behaviors. If there's any question, if there's any comment for me, if there's any area for me that I believe HR professionals need to begin to do well, or line managers, people managers, business leaders that manage people, I think it's about defining consequences. Many of us really have not really understood how to define consequences. If you say you are suspending somebody without pay, how does that change the person? What are corrective consequences? What are corrective consequences for in the world of work today? Many of us don't have corrective consequences. You take 20,000 naira from my salary, okay? And so I suspend you for 1 month. I'm coming back to work now. What are those corrective consequences? And I think that's an area that someday we will possibly come back to workplace conversations to come and address. How exactly, what consequences really matter to get people to behave appropriately? Okay, so let me go to Mensa. Mensa, you have, again, from a planning and strategy standpoint, what does this thing about constant urgency do to the quality of execution that employees bring to the table? Everything seems to be do it now, do it now, do it now. How does that affect quality in the workplace?
I know I would give us an example. But first, before I even say that, I would like us to understand that constant urgency often acts as a burden on your valuable assets. There are two valuable assets for every organization, and that is clarity and quality. This stands to your mission statement, to your vision. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What are you trying to solve? In all of these, there are two important factors, and that's clarity and quality. It's what makes you different from your competitor. Now, as simple as that mail we send, we say ASAP. I'm sure we are all very conversant with ASAP. As soon as possible. ASAP. What it does to us is that it erodes that execution and long-term vision. It brings about erosion of quality and clarity. And I'll put it to this. People start becoming reactive as against being proactive at work. Reactiveness versus being proactive. People stop planning for, best outcomes. What they're just trying to do is find solutions to immediate requests in the best possible way they can. As a result of that, you have what we call accumulation of debt. What's happening? You keep having pending work. Oh, you've not finished this one. You left it because they said ASAP. I have to leave this one and go to this one because it's ASAP. Imagine having 3 ASAPs from 3 different line managers. You can just, put the mental picture of what really is going to happen to the organization. As a result of this, you begin to have what we call decision fatigue. There's high pressure in the environment, and sometimes could lead to, death of staff in terms of staff attrition. People become unsatisfied in the workplace, not because they don't like what they are doing, but because the environment does not feel healthy to them. It puts planning, makes planning to be replaced by this firefighting approach, where everybody is always, trying to run, trying to solve one issue or the other. You're always here, you're always there. Nothing really clearly done. Aside that, it brings about increased rework. You see that something you should have done once, you find yourself doing it 2, 3, 4 times because there are errors you need to correct. There are mistakes you need to work on. there are execution errors in the process. At the end of the day, it reduces that ability to think strategically and bring about best results, which also tends down to clarity and quality. These are, very important factors that will always happen when, we put urgency in all that we do. So there's this necessary need for us to always set, what I tell my colleagues, I'll say, set priorities, set milestones for whatever work you're going to do today. I come to work and the person I'm asking is, what are your plans for today? So when I know your plans, then I'm telling you what my own plans are for you and seeing how well I can fit my own plans into your plans. So at the end of the day, we all can achieve, that set strategic goal. Yeah. So these are one of the very, very important aspects that we need to understand about urgency at workplace.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mensa. And again, I think this conversation is so apt for many of us here. And I know many people are already having questions like, yes, this is my experience. This is my experience. What exactly then do I do to these things? So, but yet again, thank you, Mensa. For us, I think that constant urgency impacts on execution quality. I heard you clearly when you said it reduces execution time. It reduces execution time. People are not, it reduces strategic thinking time. That's what you said, strategic thinking time. People are not taking time to forecast. They are not taking time to deeply process their cognitive load. People are shallow in their thinking. There's reactions, like you said. People are not proactive. They are reactionary. And errors continue again and again and again. Someone once told me recently about what he called delegating upward. Delegating upward. When you, as the manager, you assign work to your subordinate, and then your subordinate doesn't do the work well, and he has passed it on to you, you will find out that you just find yourself, because of the urgency that you also are pressed on, you say, you know what, I can't allow you embarrass me. I can't allow you finish me. Let me just get onto it and do it. That's pretty much what we call delegating upwards. And for employees who delegate upwards, what they find out is that they are likely not going to be rated highly by their employers, by their managers, and they're just going to be treated as though they don't have the capacity for it. Oftentimes, it's not their problem, it's not their fault, but the urgency that we see. Let's try to make progress, because again, time is fast spent. People are preparing for work tomorrow. I would like to bring our audience into this conversation. If there's any question, anyone with a question or reflection that connects highly with tonight's theme, I'd love you to just please let us know. You can just send me a chat and I will bring you up to ask your question. And if you have any other comment to make. Now, Mensa, let me come back to you and let's talk about leadership accountability. Because we cannot keep saying that the people are lazy. The people, they're not thinking fast. We can't keep saying all of that. Where does the manager also take responsibility? Where does the leader also take responsibility? So my question to you is this. How do leadership behaviors, and not just policies, you sit at the helm of writing policies, executing policies, implementing policies, and evaluating them. How exactly do leadership behaviors shape workload across work cultures? How does leadership behaviors? I hear you say just now that you will ask your subordinate and your colleague, what's your plan for today? And then here's my plan for you for today. But the truth is, how exactly do leadership behaviors shape our workload culture today across organizations? Whether you are in academia, like Dr. Tiwalade Udu is, or you are in FMCG, like Helen is, or you are in engineering or IT, as DG is, how exactly do leadership behaviors shape this workload culture? You are part of the problem makers, Mensa. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay. Basically, there are some ideologies we need to understand. And that's the fact that leadership behavior in itself is a nervous system. Leadership behavior itself is a nervous system. It dictates how, one actually moves or the organization moves. The type of leadership behavior that exists in an organization determines how well that organization moves, how healthy that work culture is. Imagine there's a policy. We all talk about work-life balance. I've heard it several times. Work-life balance, work-life balance. I don't know if I should ask my audience. Maybe they can answer in the group. What do you understand by work-life balance? Maybe let's just see it in the group. Let's hear what people say and their opinions about work-life balance. We say work-life balance, and you have asked us at the beginning of this session to say who can say they did not work or open their laptop this weekend. Work policy says, oh, by 5 p.m. on Friday, work ends. By 9:59, your line manager is sending you a message and telling you ASAP. How does that transcend to work-life balance? These are certain critical things, that override policies over time. When organizations set out policies and procedures, and leadership behavior tends most times to break these policies and procedures. And because you want to be in the good books, you are seeking promotion, you are seeking favors, you tend to fall into this trap. Employees don't follow handbook. They don't follow. How many people have followed handbook before? How many people even remember what handbooks really talk about? What employees follow is the part that rewards. And that is defined by their bosses. That is defined by their bosses. It's what Oga Diola said, though. It's what, no, he's one that will do my appraisal, though. I asked somebody someday and I said, 12 to 2 is for what? 12 to 2. 12 to 2 is break time. You have an hour between 12 to 2 for your break. How many of us actually take that break time? And this all tends to come about the leadership behavior in question. Policies are maps, but leadership behaviors are the actual, the actual wind flow or weather that determines how the organization or how the work culture in the organization would run. There are certain things we need to understand. Leaders model urgency, and it cascades down the system. Rewarding sacrifices, normalizes overload sometimes.
Say that
and
again. Say that again.
I said rewarding sacrifice normalizes overload. I remember sometime there is an organization where every Christmas, December 20th, 21st, they will close for the Christmas period. Then few people who are able to come to work are being rewarded for coming to work. Mr. Lagbaja, Miss Ngozi hears of these rewards. And before you know, everybody's sacrificing that balance between family time to have to come to work because there's a reward for coming to work. And today that is being seen as a norm. There's no more Christmas holiday again. That overload has become normal. It's all of you can come to work, Abby. It becomes normal. Silence on pressure legitimizes it. Most people are not able to have good conversations, about pressures they face, or they don't have good communication systems running in the organization. All of this also boils down on what kind of leadership behavior exists in that organization. If I'm not feeling too well, I'm able to tell my fellow colleagues that I'm having a little headache. I want to take a power nap, 10 minutes. And when I come back, we will work on this schedule, we'll work on this assignment. When they feel pressure the same way, they will do the same thing to me. They'll communicate vice versa. To round it up, I would just like us to understand that workload culture, in most cases, or in all cases, basically, let me say most cases, it's often shaped more by what leaders do and tolerate, rather than what the formal policy says. Policy statement, procedures, and processes. Workload culture is often shaped by what leaders do and tolerate, rather than what the handbook says in the organization.
Thank you. Thank you, Mensa. Thank you so much for that. And that's very spot on. There's a book I always like to recommend, or I always reference when we have this conversation. And it is that it's a book titled The Tone from the Top. Yeah, I think that's the title. I'm going to drop this in the chat.
Yeah,
From the Top.
I read that book. I read that book before.
It's a book titled The Tone from the Top by Anne Moir. That book says the disposition of the leader shapes the culture. The disposition of the leader shapes the culture. And really, that's where the problem is. Can I share this story with you people, if you don't mind, if the audience here, if you don't mind, right? My friend Deji is on this call. He possibly can relate. Dr. Tiwalade, I see you also. I'm sure you can relate with this. So I walk here and I'm in the office. I mean, naturally, it looks like the kind of work I do. Janet, you also can relate to this. We once were in the same environment. And so I'm working till about 8 o'clock, 9 p.m. And just as I am about closing, I'm told that the chairman of my organization has just arrived. And he's in the same building that I'm working in. I'm on the 4th floor. He has gone to his office on the 6th floor. And how did I know he arrived? Because the security man come to tell me that boss said I should let you know that he's upstairs. Boss said I should let you know that he's upstairs. I said, okay, is he asking me to come? He says, no, he just wants you to know that he's upstairs. And the implication is that you cannot go because he knows that you are upstairs. You know, sometimes I've stayed in that office till 2 a.m. waiting. Sometimes I've kept my PA with me. I say, guy, we cannot go anywhere because we have to wait on our leader and he may call us at any time. And can I be honest with you? Most times he leaves us in the office without even letting us know he has gone. And then we get up at 1:30 a.m. and say, check, is he still around? I said, oh, he didn't even wait more than 30 minutes. And we have been waiting there 3 hours because we feel we should serve. Sometimes when you also say that your boss is stretching, you want to show him that you are kowtowing his approach. You want to show him that, yes, I'm also trying to be like you. And that, again, puts us under some pressure. But Jenny, let's not let the men not take over the conversation. Let me come back to you. If you had to identify just one leadership habit that most worsens workload pressure, what would it be? In fact, let me not limit you to one. If you had to identify leadership habits that worsens the workload pressure, what would they be?
Well, Mr. Simon has mentioned some of them. Number one of it is declaring everything urgent. You cannot take that out. That brings pressure on its own. And then you're given a role that you cannot say to your boss that, this one is out of my KPI. I can't do it. So, and they are telling you it's very urgent. They're delegating work to you without clarity. You don't even know the context of which they are delegating that particular assignment to you. Those are the pressures. You've been given something to do and deliver on, not minding if you are able to do that just because you are able to be successful on the previous task that was given to you. And more tasks are given to you without clarity, no context of how it should be done and when it should be delivered. And they tell you it's very urgent, right? Another one is, a situation where they are escalating the pressure. The pressure is being escalated instead of removing the obstacles. I tell my husband, I said, people are quick to identify what the problems are without the solution. He said, do you know this? They will point you to the issues, but what have you identified for me to be able to solve it? Because when you see the problem and you're able to see the way out, it helps me to be able to jump on it. And that's what I encourage a lot of HR managers to do. You see that a particular task that has been given to one, in my own, why I'm putting it all together like this is because in my own context, I'm not with one particular company. There are several companies that are together, and there are so many expectations from different, and they are not aligning in any way. So you are expected to do, that clarity is not there on what you are expected to do in that particular task that has been given. Just because you are successful on one that was given to you earlier, more are being added. And those are the issues.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Janet. And I hear you well. The behavior is declaring everything urgent. Now, I really wish we're not going to close this meeting tonight sounding helpless. So I'm going to get to that point where I'm going to be saying, what should we do to ourselves to manage this workload pressure? And how do we manage our leaders who have a behavior of putting pressure on us unduly? But before then, just so that I don't forget that part, I'm going to come back there. Declaring everything urgent is a bad behavior. Delegating without clarity and context is another bad behavior. Escalating pressure instead of removing obstacles. You have all told me to go and get this thing done now. Yet you know that the driver that is supposed to help us go and drop this package. Mensa, you are supposed to go and you're supposed to drop this document with chairman before he travels. And then they say, drop this document before he travels. Okay? Now the driver to do the dispatch has been sent by the chairman to go and do the chairman's work. Now, chairman is saying, where is this thing now? And you're wondering, Oga, you put the obstacle in my way. You put the obstacle in my way. How do you deal with something? And these are some of the habits that we see around. And we are held responsible for these things, even though they are the ones that put the obstacle there. But we're not going to be helpless. Let me ask a second question to the audience, because I've seen that the chat is active. Thank you, Bukola. I've seen the chat is active. For those of you who have put your thoughts in the chat, thank you very much. There's a second question I want to ask you. And you're going to answer for me, A, B, C, D, or E. A, B, C, D, or E. Please do not put the text. Just put A, B, C, D, or E in the chat. Number one, this is the second question. What contributes most to unhealthy workload pressure in your own organization? In your own experience? Maybe not your organization, in your experience. What contributes most to unhealthy workload pressure? After this question, then we'll land on what we have to change. What must change? What must change? And that's where I think we must answer those questions. How do I respond to my leader? How do I also respond to myself? Well, question for the audience. What contributes the most to unhealthy workload pressure in your experience? Option A, poor prioritization. Option B, understaffing. Option C, weak management capability. Option D, unrealistic timelines. Option E, lack of role clarity. Which one of these contributes the most to unhealthy workload pressure? A, poor prioritization. B, understaffing. C, weak management capability. D, unrealistic timelines. And E, lack of role clarity. I give you 30 seconds to answer that, and then we'll come back. When I say the most, just choose one. You can't choose B and D, Victoria. Just choose one. Just one. Just one. Just one. Thank you, Tosi, for voting. Priye, thank you. Ayomikun, thank you. So anybody that voted 2, we have removed your vote. You have to revote. You have to just choose one. Okay? What contributes the most to workload? Poor prioritization is A, understaffing is B, weak management capability is C, unrealistic timelines is D, lack of role clarity is E. Even panelists are voting. Okay, I mean, I'm thinking that context also will matter here. I'm seeing participants from outside Nigeria choosing what Nigerians are not choosing. I'm seeing people I'm sure are in academia choosing also what others are not choosing. So I can imagine maybe this is also going to be industry influenced. But let's see how it goes. Okay. Ojo Joseph Babatunde, if you can unmute yourself, please tell me, what industry do you work in? Ojo Joseph Babatunde, what industry do you work in?
Okay, good evening, doctor.
Good evening, sir. Where do you work? What industry do you work in?
I work in transportation, logistic transportation.
Okay, all right. There's an Ayomide on the call. Ayomide, you chose A and E. What industry do you work in, Ayomide? Ayomide, can you unmute to answer that question? What industry do you work in?
Good evening, doctor. I work in logistics and transportation.
So you see, Dr. Tiwalade, I know you're in academia. You are the guys that have chosen AAA. Oh my God. Imelda, my latest friend from Port Harcourt. How are you, Imelda? Where do you work? What industry do you work in?
Good evening, doctor. I'm from Calabar.
Okay, sorry, Calabar. Forgive me. Calabar. You work in the university?
Yes.
So you see, I wasn't wrong when I said this thing would be industry lean. Sometimes, those of us who have done this consulting work for a bit, when we see the data, we can tell. So those who have chosen A is poor prioritization. Though all the 4 people that chose A are from 2 industries, transport and logistics and academia. And that says something. My friend Deji, you are outside the country and you chose, what did Deji choose? Deji, you're the only person that chose option C. No Nigerian on this call voted that weak management capability.
Yeah.
How come? What's happening? Why are you choosing that?
Well, CZ is industry specific. So
Yeah.
I'm talking about the technology space in like this in North America. So
Yeah.
at times the demands that have been asked from, let's say, software engineers and all that, it's basically they know what they're asking for. They want the job to be delivered. That's what they are much more concerned about, the delivery of the work. So but if they understand it better and they are much more structured, because in the software industry here, it's about delivery. So, and things might not be as organized, but they just do everything you can to get the job done. So, if the leaders are more capable of knowing what's supposed to be done, I think it will not overburden people. And one thing, like you guys have said, is people start working from Sunday night. You have a meeting at 9 a.m. That's not when you can't go into a meeting at 9 a.m. That means Sunday evening, like today, you start, okay, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to have to deliver a report. That was not done on Friday. So you actually started working on Sunday because you have a management meeting at 9 a.m. So what are you doing on your weekend? You're thinking about, you start thinking about it from Saturday night, depending on maybe if you have to go to church and all that. So, yeah.
Amazing. Joshua, have you found out which one of the responses is the highest? If I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing E and D. There's a competition between D and E. The option D is unrealistic timelines, is the highest contributor to unhealthy workload, and then lack of role clarity. Who is responsible for what? Unrealistic timelines versus lack of role clarity. Joshua says E, lack of role clarity has 4 votes, and unrealistic timelines has 3 votes. My panelists, what do you think? Either of the two. What did you vote for, Janet?
I choose E.
E, lack of role clarity. Mensa, did you vote?
You said we should not vote, so I just stayed on my lane.
But you see,
we should not vote.
I didn't say we should not vote. I said panelists also voted. Now, again, gentlemen and ladies, you see now that we cannot generalize our responses because our experiences are different. Okay. So for the guys in North America, they are saying, if my leaders, the people who manage my work, if they knew better, they won't treat me the way they are treating me. They're just about results. So they don't care what price I have to pay. The guys in transport and logistics and academics, they are saying prioritization. You're not prioritizing things. Yet the rest of us are saying it's about unrealistic timelines and lack of role clarity. Can I tell you what we did not choose? And I'm not sure anybody chose it.
And if you allowed me, that's what I would have chosen.
Which one?
Because it's what we've been talking about. Weak management capability.
Okay, that's America. You are a foreigner, so you are a foreigner, so that's why it was okay. Now, but nobody, maybe only one person, Victoria, you were the only one that chose understaffing. And that's, let me tell you why that report is very critical for us. If all of us, if only one of almost 40 of us said understaffing is the reason, do you know the implication of that statement? We are ready to bear burdens. We are ready to bear burdens. We are all ready to bear burdens. It has become so natural to us to carry as much load as possible. Just tell me what you want me to do and give me a realistic timeline. Even if I'm the only one, just give me a realistic timeline and I will do the job. Let me know if it is mine. Be clear and give me a realistic timeline. Not minding how many people will do it with me. I will do it. And I want to ask you that question, and I want us to discuss it. What exactly is causing that? Do you not see, Dr. Tiwalade, I want to hear your voice at this point. Do you not see that that's a problem? Doc?
Good evening, Doc. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, the understaffing too was there, but in my head, I was just like, the poor prioritization sounds like poor planning. So it trickles down to if the plan is solid, then it will take care of the staffing and all the other things your staff need to do their work effectively. So that's why I didn't choose understaffing. But that understaffing I totally agree with it. It's part of it, but you said we can't choose two. So I have to choose poor prioritization.
Oh my. What I'm seeing, and I mean, again, let's think about this. Does it not show very clearly that we're all ready to take additional work as long as the roles are clear and the timelines are realistic?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think it's now ingrained in our subconscious. And just like Mr. Mensah said, this mentality of sacrifice. Okay. So like we are doing this for the greater good. So yeah, I don't mind extending myself as long as I have enough time to do it and you're not putting me under undue pressure and I have the tools needed to do it. Yeah, I will get it done. Even if I'm the only one, I will get it done. Yes, I totally agree with you.
Helen, you're here on the call, and this is very critical. For those of us who are working, do you now see why we need to shape what is happening in our work environments? There's an endemic problem here. Mensa, your comment was very spot on when you said, and that was what Tiwalade just referred to. You said when we, how did you say it again? You said when we reward something about sacrifice. You said something about sacrifice. You said if sacrifice is. You said rewarding sacrifice normalizes work overload.
Yes.
Rewarding sacrifice normalizes work overload. Lady H, are you still there? Are you there for me? I'd like to hear your voice.
Yes,
Lady
Doctor,
H,
I'm here. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Lady H, thank you. You are in a fast-moving consumer good
Can you hear
organization.
me?
Your work is such that you have a lot of pressure on you. This is my question to you, and I'd like you to join this debate. Have we not corrupted our work system when we all have unconsciously accepted undue workload provided there is realistic timeline and role clarity. What are your thoughts on that data that was just gotten out from here?
Well, to be honest, by the way, good evening, everyone, once again. Panelists, you're doing a very great job. And it might interest you to note that I'm actually taking notes. Yeah. So, being in a very high pressured environment like the FMCG, I is constantly on the goal. We need to get the work done. We need to satisfy our customers. We need to satisfy all stakeholders. So sometimes leaders often forget that there is also a need to manage people and manage them right. And it's also not a good place to be when you overburden a few persons while you have other members of the team who are actually busy but doing nothing, adding no value at all. And by the time you adopt that kind of approach, what you find is that your best hands, your high performance would no longer perform at their optimum. So you wouldn't really get value and efficiency from them at the level that you should, not because they are not smart and intelligent enough to deliver, but because you're giving them so much to do that they are not able to deliver within their capacity and capability. We just finished our review for the full year, January to December last year. And during the appraisal committee sitting, we had to talk about PMCs and the need to be focused on some of these things, actually. Let KPIs be smart. Let's cascade the goals down. Let every man who is part of the team get their work done. If there is a need to quickly pick balls, let those balls not become norms in dropping. And let's not have a few person constantly picking balls after others. Let people do the work that they've been engaged to do. If there are gaps that they have, let's identify those gaps and see what intervention we can provide to bring them up to speed. Because when people have gaps and you don't assess those gaps, sit across them and have conversations with them, they probably don't even know better. So you are carrying people, part of your wage bill, you are expending money there, and there's no value to the business. So that's really not how to run. I would stop here because if I keep speaking, trust me, there's so much more I would keep saying. But the truth is, we're at that place where we're telling managers, whether HR managers, whether technical managers, to say that the people part is something we also need to take seriously. Is not just getting the work done, not just meeting expectations of customers and taking products out there or whatever service you render. People are your greatest assets. And if you don't have the right people, you can't achieve that which you want to achieve. Your organization can only be as good as the people in it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Lady H. That's my legal counsel from Jos. She's got experience across legal, HR. Chinwe, I saw you unmute your mic. I was going to hear you speak. I wanted to hear you speak. If this is the Chinwe I know, I really would love you to hear you. Chinwe, is this you? Hi, Chinwe. Is this you? Is this the same Chinwe I know?
No, sir, it's not the same Chinwe you know. Good evening, sir.
How come I don't know you? You are
Sorry.
the one I know. I know you now, Chinwe. Chinwe, what are your thoughts on the fact that we have subtly accepted workload, undue workload?
Well, good evening. Thank you so much. I work in transport and logistics too, and I think I believe that previously I chose E. I chose E previously. Okay, but listening to everybody and the last speaker now speak, it's like it's there. Okay, it's there, undue workload. When I got engaged where I'm working, I was engaged as an HR officer, but as time progresses, I do a lot of things. And you know that part of your job description where they put and any other sign, the main thing aside our job description, like any other task, anything can just come up, and that's the main thing you're doing. Your major task, you're not even focusing on it, you're just focusing on any other task assigned to you. So undue workload is it, sir? I believe. I totally agree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's close this out. It's almost 10 o'clock in Nigeria here. and let's close as we begin a new year. So let's not end this. Let us end with responsibility and not rhetoric. You know, we have been talking about. Joshua says that the line is the biggest scam in employment lines. And any other such responsibility that may be assigned to you, Chinwe said that becomes the main work, and the main work takes a back seat. So let's not end this meeting with the rhetoric. Let's end with responsibility. And this is my final question to my panelists, and this is one question to both of you. If organizations want sustainable productivity in 2026, what must they deliberately stop doing? And what must they start doing differently? What must they deliberately stop doing? And what must they start doing differently? If organizations want sustainable productivity in 2026, what must they deliberately stop doing? And what must they start doing differently? Let's start with Mensa, my Ghanaian brother. Our jollof is still better than your Ghanaian jollof anyway.
Just as you have said, it's all about leadership behavior. I don't know the leadership behavior of your jollof rice. Like I heard the behavior of my own jollof rice. You know, haven't stemmed from the fact that my rice is perfumed rice and has a very nice feel. Basically, 2026, yes, we say the year is running already. Some will say the year is late already. But again, it's never too late to start or to make certain changes. And to achieve sustainable productivity in 2026, we need to move past a lot of things. We need to move past that hustle culture, where we need to move beyond that, trying to put efficiency at all costs. At all costs, just make sure you achieve the set budget and all of that. That mindset of after COVID, a lot of things changed. And there's this mindset put to us there. Online meetings, as far as it's online, if you're at home, you can still join the meeting. We have failed to acknowledge the time between closing hours and, personal hours. We need to move beyond all of this. True productivity relies on cognitive endurance. And when I say that, what do I mean? That's the ability of the workforce to perform high value work without hitting the wall. And in all honesty, there are certain things we need to do and stop doing. And that's, I will call that the strategic shifts. The first, what do we need to stop doing? What do we need to kill, if I would say? We need to stop, one, shadow tasking. Shadow tasking. We need to stop shadow tasking. We need to stop measuring efforts alone. We need to stop measuring efforts alone. We need to stop, rewarding that last minute save. That's, we talked about that pressure, that sacrifice. We need to stop rewarding sacrifice, and start rewarding creativity rather, or, new invention, new ways of doing things to achieve better results.
Yeah.
What should we start doing differently? I would say again, we need to start what we would call capacity-based planning. We need to start capacity-based planning. And I don't know if most of us have heard about what they call the 80 rule, where you deliberately schedule only 80% of your team total capacity, and while the remaining 20% is the buffer required for you to leave room for innovation, for creativity, and unexpected roadblocks. That room for error, allow people reinvent, allow people do things in just the way they best feel or will determine to go about it, without having to put more pressure on them or hindering such level of performance. We need to encourage deep learning. Without it, the system has no resilience. Without deep learning, we need to start, like I said, we need to stop rewarding sacrifice. And this time around, we need to start rewarding fire prevention. We need to start rewarding fire prevention. rather than rewarding that sacrifice. And that is shifting the incentive structure to favor those who build systems that don't break. We need to recognize the invisible win, create a recognition category where we reward people for operational excellence. Teams that constantly deliver, they deliver high quality work without zero drama or zero overtime. When you start looking at all of these aspects,
yes,
we need to start.
You say everything.
Outcomes.
You say everything. What would Janet say now?
I'm sorry.
Why it's all good?
At this point, I would just say we need to be intentional about work and work design. We need to look into those strategic gaps and set proper milestones in achievable roadmaps. I will just leave it here for today and allow Janet just to round up. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry if I said everything.
Is it jollof rice? Is it jollof rice?
It's Ghana jollof rice. It's Ghana jollof rice accosted. It's Ghana jollof rice.
Okay, Janet,
right.
What should we start
Thank
doing?
You.
What should we stop doing?
Well, most of the key points Mr. Mensah have already mentioned, but just to be very concise and just go straight to it, we need to stop glorifying exhaustion as commitment. That somebody is almost dying at work and they are there till 10 p.m., like doctor will say, and there till 3 a.m. does not mean that they are delivering on it. And now, let's just start, the proper work design that speaks to what they are expected to do. Intentional. We have to be intentional about that, right? We need to measure capacity and then how they prioritize their work. This person that you are assigning this work to, do they have what it takes to deliver on it? And if they don't, one of the things that has been mentioned tonight is, can we get more people to deliver on it rather than managing it through? Let people, one of the things that Chinwe said that really struck me, one of my colleagues actually mentioned that at the beginning of the year, that can people, the person happens to be in the finance team, and he said, for this year, 2026, I'll just quote him, can people just do their job? Can you just do what you're expected to do? And this person happened to be the team head. And then just like you said that you are prioritizing how did you put it, Doc? That you are reassigning the work upward or something like that you mentioned earlier. And he find out that most of the work assigned, he find himself doing it again. And this year he has come to HR and said, no, can people just do their job? If you're not going to do it, can we get somebody that can do it? And that is very clear in the aspect of the capacity. Do they have the capacity to deliver on the assignments that we are giving to them? And then that comes to us as HR. I can't take that out anyways. And most of those assignments actually comes to us. We need to look at it and look at how to make it work. When management is talking about kind of like rewarding effort alone, can we bring it down to look at the outcome of what they are actually doing and the sustainability, what they are delivering, the assignment that they are doing, put together with their KPIs, is it in line? And don't let us just negate it like the other lady mentioned, was it Chinwe, or the one you called now, and said the line that we put on that offer that says any other work that you are being assigned, you have to do it. And that happens to be the actual work. So we need to look into it and design work. I'll just put it, let the job description be very clear.
That's right.
And you can keep doing that. It's not just as at when the employees are coming in. At the beginning of as you're doing your evaluation, performance evaluation and all, can you look at what they are doing, what you're expecting them to do, and what they actually did, and see how it aligns? And if there are any roadblocks, in order for them to achieve it, can we take it off and bring in things that will make them deliver on it? And that will really help us and, you know, help the organization as well. Thank you very much.
Right. Gentlemen and ladies, would you please help me applaud our panelists for tonight? Would you please help me applaud them just as we try to close tonight? Help me applaud them, please. It's been a very rich conversation. And all of you who contributed as well, I think you should clap for yourselves. It's been very rich, very rich. I've gone away with something very phenomenal tonight. Very phenomenal. For me, it's that we already have a work design that is faulty. And so our unified landing tonight is this. Sustainable productivity requires intentional work design and not heroic endurance. We cannot continue to reward exhaustion. We cannot continue to reward exhaustion, right? My mom used to tell me, the lifetime of work is longer than the lifetime of a human being. Meanwhile, if you continue working, when you die, work continues. And so you've got to prioritize your life, because the lifetime of work is longer than the lifetime of the people who do the work. The work will remain. The people will come and go. And that's what it is. As we try to close tonight, I was reminded that we had a session earlier in the year titled Producing Better Results, okay? Producing Better Results. And if you check in the chat, I have shared that slide with you. I've shared the slide with you. Joshua possibly will share it again. There's a deck there, PBR 2026 slide deck. It's a gift from me to you, and I'll tell you why it's a gift. People paid about 40,000 naira to attend that, 30,000 naira to attend that session this January. They paid 30 grand to attend it. But you're getting the slide deck free. You will not get the video. You were not there. So if you can read it and ask the spirits to interpret the letters to you, you possibly will get more. But for those of you that attended, you have the slide deck there. But for those of you that did not attend, this is my gift to you. Producing better results in 2026. How do you produce better results than you had in the previous year? That's my gift to you. Let me close tonight by also letting you know that this 10th edition of Workplace Conversation has opened our 2026 series, and one insight stands out very clearly. People are not failing at work. Work is failing people. People are really not failing at work. Work is failing people. The pressure alone in itself is causing us to act irrationally. And what is rational has now become abnormal. And what is normal has now become an aberration. Okay? And when work fails people, performance, trust, and integrity eventually follow. So right now, I'd like to invite you again to our March 2026 event. And before I do that, let me also let you know, I'm going to call my panelists to give you a final word in 10 seconds. But before then, okay. Dr. Oludayo has many other upcoming events, and this is me inviting you to join. This is what we have left for the year. My Morning Muse with Olumuyiwa Oludayo, sometime later this month, the revamped, the renewed Morning Muse, which is the daily, not the daily now, every other day. The post that comes every other day, inspirational, will start. Also in the last week of February, we're going to start Phrases and Insights. What we do with Phrases and Insights is we take a book. For example, the book that we've just recommended today, The Tone from the Top. We take that book and we extract principles, we extract insights, commentaries, and key phrases from them. 4 elements. That's what we do with Phrases and Insights. 4 areas, 4 themes. Principles in the book, insights from the book or information from the book, commentaries, our own personal commentary, and key phrases. That's what we share in Phrases and Insights. It comes up every Saturday morning. These handles are on Instagram. If you check on Instagram, you will have it. The next Workplace Conversation is going to be happening on the 29th of March. It's the last Sunday of the month. Again, March 29, 2026, the 11th edition of Workplace Conversation. It holds on Sunday, March 29, 2026 at 8 p.m. And this month's theme, the March 2026 theme is Working Hard, Living Tight. pay pressure and the fairness question. So what we want to do in that month, in the month of March, is the edition will interrogate how rising living costs, wage stagnations, perceived pay inequities are reshaping motivation, loyalty, and behavior at work. Earlier on today, I shared with you what I call the December 2025 Consumer Price Index data. So this conversation is anchored on that data. The conversation will explore what happens to commitment, what happens to integrity, and what happens to trust when effort no longer delivers economic breathing space. You are working and working and working, and you're not getting the money. And even if money you're getting is not taking you home, your take home is not getting you home. How can organizations respond very responsibly? I've asked Joshua, my colleague, to drop the link to that registration in the chat. Joshua, have you? Yes, that's in the chat. So you can register today for Workplace Conversations 11, all right? And we're going to be talking about how pay pressure is managed. Again, we have personal transformation seminars. It's going to be holding quarterly. And the first edition for the year is going to be on March 28th, 2026. Watch out for it. For those of you who registered for this session, you're going to get that invitation in your mailboxes. For those of you that did not register, you want to send me a private DM right now, private chat right now with your email address. If you send me a private email address, chat right now with your email address, we'll get an invitation to these events. On April 30th, 2026, we're going to have a public speaking masterclass. This has been our most watched and most followed event. I can tell you that of all my videos online, the public speaking masterclass videos oftentimes get as high as 1,000 views. Okay, and this is going to be a spectacular one this year. April 30th, 2026. If you're registered with us, you will get an invitation to that as well. If you're not, send us an email to get us to put you on the list. We're not going to compel. We don't want to start sending things to people that they are not subscribed for. A new thing happening this year, I've never, ever done this before, is what I call Biblical Insights for Professionals. Biblical Insight for Professionals is going to be a conversation for the Christian faith, for those who are faith-based. We're going to be checking out what insights are there for us as professionals that we can lean on. Many of us, because we live in Africa where it's very, very religious, very, very faith-oriented, and hence the need for this. Bi-monthly, it's going to hold in March, May, July, September, and November of this year. We're going to have a conversation. The desire is to have it as a physical event where we can sit in a room and have a conversation about and draw from the Bible, the Christian Bible, insights for our own professional work. Okay. And then finally, last event for the year is Becoming a Consultant to Kings, how to solve problems for people with influence. I mean, we've had 2 editions so far, very rich experience, how to solve problems for people with influence. It's going to hold in October of 2026. You are highly invited to join if you drop your email with us in the chat. And if you don't want us to spam you, we will be sending it to you as well. Let me go back to my panelists as we try to close. Would they say ladies first, after men? Would you want to give one word, just one statement of closure? Mensa?
All right.
One statement of closure.
I would prefer you allow the lady talk first too, so that I don't have to say everything that she would say. I'll say ladies first.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Oludayo, for this opportunity. And thank you, everyone, for joining, colleagues and friends that are able to come on tonight. Thank you. I want us to actually keep joining every of the workplace conversation. It has really been insightful. Apart from the fact that I'm on the panel, I've also learned one or two things, right, from the audience as well. And as a way of take home for us, I want to encourage us. I'm talking to the employees right now. I can leave Mr. Simeon to go ahead to talk to the organization as the all policies they want to make and all. I want to say
as an employee, let's focus more on things that actually impact the results. High impact tasks that drives results. Let's set clear goals and priorities. If you prioritize what you are expected to do, there's a way it gives calmness. Mr. Mensah mentioned earlier, and he said Monday is his best days. And I think one of the things that has make such days not to give someone like me pressure is when I already have an idea of what is happening that day. And that brings calmness, right? So track your outcomes, not just your activities. Communicate, effectively. If there are areas that you need help on, let the organization know. I know, at a point, Dr. Oludayo was holding his head, like everybody has just accepted a lot of work, ready to do it in as much as there is clarity and there is time. What about if you can do it? Let other people do the job, So please, let's talk. Prioritize effectiveness over business. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Janet. Well said. Well said. Mensah, my jollof brother.
I'm glad Janet did the talk first, and she has said a very good summary of what we expect of the evening. I'll just add a few reminders to what I initially said, and that's for the fact that workload pressure is not a single individual's failure. Neither is it any leader's failure, but it's rather structural and systemic. Workload pressure is structural and systemic. Also, to note that leadership behavior has a key role to play in how workload pressure, plays out in the organization. I said leadership behavior is the nervous system of any organization. A policy is just a map, and that's what it is. But rather, leadership behavior is the actual weather. Leadership behavior is rather what defines and determines how the organization plays out or spans out at the end of the day. How employees find work convenient and comfortable. How we're able to balance between work and life balance. So let's take this into consideration. I know most of us, this is 2026. Some of us will get promotions into leadership positions. Some of us will begin to set our own businesses, and will become leaders, industry leaders, business leaders, family leaders, not just the organization alone. Remember that your leadership behavior determines how the rest of the year would go. Thank you very much, and it's good having all of you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I'm grateful for the feedback. Thank you, Sonia, for your thoughts. Sonia said, I think performance management should be an ongoing conversation and just not an annual event. Regular objective reviews and capacity discussions help to manage workload and prevent misalignment between expectations and reality. Well said, Sonia. I want to thank you all so much. Again, don't leave this call without registering for Workplace Conversations 2020. Workplace Conversations 11, the 11th edition of Workplace Conversations. Someone has asked me to bring back the screen for the future events. I've done that right now. So you can as well take a screenshot of the events for 2026. All of these events have their own Instagram handles. But Joshua will do well and drop in the chat my YouTube channel where all of these are available. He will drop my YouTube channel as well as my Instagram handle. So if you follow, I follow back, but it's not like follow for follow, just out of courtesy, So if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and at the same time follow us on Instagram. It's been a pleasure tonight hosting you on this conversation. Sincere appreciation to our panelists who've spent over, I don't know how many hours you've committed to this, from preparation to this presentation. God bless you very richly. Janet, thank you so much. My sister from way back. And thanks to Mensa, my brother, whom I've started to work with very closely and has shown me value and great respect, across the board. I want to say very thank you to you. My own takeaway tonight is this. The work design in Africa is faulty. We need to redesign it. We have allowed people to unconsciously accept undue workload as normal while just seeking role clarity and realistic timelines. All this done at the detriment of their capacity, done at the detriment of maximizing their capabilities that could have been deployed to more things. So I'm leaving you here with a question. I'm leaving here with a charge. I'm going to be doing more research and having more conversations on how can we change the work culture that allows undue workload not become the norm, but remain an aberration. Having said that, thank you very much tonight, and we'll see you in March. See you again, and all the best in the week. Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Doctor.